And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God and the Father by him. Colossians 3:17. Wagwan goody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we will be making Jamaican oxtail. Not oxtails like southern smothered oxtail. But these are our key ingredients and we're going to get the process started. So keep watching. So first things first, you want to start off with cleansing your meat thoroughly. I use lemon juice, vinegar. You can use lime and water along with salt. And we're going to let that get into a bowl, rinse it through, and let it sit for about 15 minutes or so before trying to rinse it again. Okay, as you can see, there's a lot of fat in here. My butcher did clean it good for me and snipped off a lot of the fat, but there's still some fat left over. But you want to keep some of it on. It helps with the flavor and holding on to the seasoning. And we just rinse it through. You want to make sure that the water is clear. So we're making sure the blood is mostly out of the oxtail, and the color will change the more blood leaves the meat. As you can see, the color is a little different, and the more you continue to wash it, the more the color will get lighter. But we did it only 3 times, but now we're going to get ready to season it up. We're going to marinate it overnight. So far we put salt, pepper, of course. Next, we're adding some all-purpose seasonings from Maggie's. Most Jamaican dishes have Maggie as the brand for top-notch quality. And we have oxtail seasoning as well. Next, we have onion powder. If you have less meat, you can do less seasoning, but this is about accurate for the kind of amount I have. Then we're doing garlic powder. Then we have some paprika, which is always a nice addition to any meat dish. Okay, this is where I'll put my viewer discretion. I like spicy food, or my food with a little kick to it. So to jazz it up some, this wasn't really spicy like that, but I tend to use wet jerk seasoning by Maggie. And we're also adding green seasoning, which is a blend of vegetables, including peppers. We're doing allspice seasoning, which is whole pimento seeds. All Caribbean dishes have this accent. You don't eat these, but they give the dish flavor. Next, we're going in with some minced garlic. You can do cloves of garlic, up to you, but I like minced to save some time when it's marinating overnight. Next one, we have one of my favorite things I've discovered, minced ginger. Instead of cutting it up, you can buy it canned like I did and get it minced like garlic, which is delicious. Then we're adding turmeric. That's optional, but I like the kick that turmeric gives Jamaican food. And we're also going in with some ketchup, because if I'm going to use browning, which I'll talk about a little bit more, you want tomato in your dish. It really helps the flavor. So you can use tomato or ketchup. I use both. And we're going in with some jerk seasoning as well. The dry seasoning is less spicier than the wet seasoning, so it's a good spin to add. And we're also going to add some complete seasoning as well. This is optional because a lot of the ingredients I'm putting in will already be inside of the actual ingredient. You have thyme leaves. You can also leave that out if you're going to put actual thyme in it, like I did. I use both. Okay, next we're going in with some browning. Me love me browning. My patois is horrible. But anyway, some people will use it with oxtail. Some people don't, but I prefer to use it. Okay, we let the seasoning hit every piece of meat. We stirred it in good. So I did add some Lowry seasoning salt this morning, and I'm adding just a little bit of rosemary. It won't hurt to add some more flavor to this. And it's still going to sit in the fridge for a few hours until I begin the process. So I'm going to cover it right back up and put it right back in the refrigerator. Okay, the meat is marinated for about 20 hours. We have our pepper, tomato, thyme, green onion, regular onion, and scotch bonnet pepper, along with other ingredients. Let's get this party started. Every Caribbean dish I cook, I start the dish off with coconut oil. It gives so much flavor to a dish. I use it for everything but frying plantain. Coconut combined with jerk, coconut combined with curry, coconut combined with browning. It just enhances the Caribbean flavor of a meal. And we're gonna start sauteing and browning our oxtail. Before we really get the process cooking, you wanna get it kind of started off strong. So we're just placing a few pieces in. But because I have such a large amount of oxtail, I have 6 pounds of oxtail. This is more so for when you're doing it for a smaller amount, but we're gonna fill the top with oxtail. So as you can see, I had to change my pot. I have 6 pounds of oxtail. It was not about to work in my regular pot. So I have like a pretty good sized one that I tend to do my meats, but it's been a while since I made this much. So you might want to make sure your pan or pot is as spacious as it needs to be. We're giving it a few minutes to brown up, some 10 minutes, and then I'm going to open it and see how it's cooking. The steam is coming off because it's a little bit still, I won't say frozen, but refrigerated. So it's going to smoke down some. Okay, so now I kind of want to get some of that coconut flavor to hit every piece of oxtail so that it blends the flavors in very well, not just hits the ones on the bottom. So I'm just letting it simmer in the coconut oil. Alrighty then, we're going to get ready to add our vegetables. We're going to add some red bell pepper, green bell pepper. You want to make sure the colors is colorful and pretty. Some thyme, onion, some scallion, green onion some call it, and we're going to just stir that in there and get that added to the flavor as everything is simmering. And look how pretty that is becoming as it's starting to cook down even more. Just gonna stir it because I'm gonna get ready to let it sit in the seasonings. So we're gonna cover it and give it some time to boil into each other for a couple minutes, about 10. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes I covered it. Now usually when I don't have so much meat, I can focus on just kind of browning each side if all of it can fit on the floor of the pan. But because I had so much, they're kind of on top of each other a little more. So I just covered it for 10 minutes so it can start trying to cook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some water, some hot water. You don't have to use a kettle. Just if your faucet can get very hot, use that. Also, I'm going to pour it into the mixing bowl that had all the seasonings marinating in it last night. To add the water to that. It's going to take a long time to cook, so you want to make sure that you put enough water because you're going to be adding water to it constantly throughout this process. Oxtail take a good 2.5 to 3 hours, if not more. So I'm going to cover it even more than that. I'm just going to let it do its thing. I'm adding in my diced tomatoes. You can do canned. And you want to make sure that you have some onion and scallion left over. I only use half and half, some in the beginning, because in the middle we're going to add more seasoning to it just to keep it flavorful. Okay, I've added in my diced tomatoes and we're going to keep it cooking and boiling into each other with the flavor. Re-added, it can rehydrate itself and make the dish maintain its flavor, because when you're pouring water in constantly, it may lose its seasoning. So you want to re-add everything. So just coming back to check on it. Let's give it some stir. I might turn down the heat some, because this boy is cooking. Okay. While our oxtail is getting ready, we're gonna do our rice and peas. So we're gonna use gungo peas. Usually I do a red kidney bean, but it's been a while since I did gungo, which tastes just as good. Okay, I just added in a little bit more tomato, some onion, some green onion, and I'm gonna add a little bit of another kind of green seasoning. I have both Maggie's and Jamaica Choice, just to add some variety. And I'm just adding some fresh thyme because I pulled out the old thyme already. Thyme helps out the flavor, a great heat too. Just going in with some more ketchup, because I don't have any more tomato. I'm just going to, okay. And I'm also going to add some more all-purpose seasoning. Okay, we're gonna stir everything around in there good. It's going to be very flavorful, because adding seasoning in the middle as well as the beginning helps keep the strong flavor very relevant in the dish, so that by the time everything's boiled out and cooked in the oxtail, because it takes 3 hours, it's still very good. And we're adding butter bean. Now this may be something you might want to add towards the last half hour. And I would use 2 cans for this amount of meat. But 1 can would suffice if you have 2 pounds. But yeah, wait till the last 30 minutes so it'll soak up the flavor in the end. You don't want to really bust the bean like you would typically with other dishes. But we're going to re-add some seasonings to get the process finished and flavored. Onion powder, garlic powder. And I'm just going in with some more garlic. You want to re-add your first initial ingredients. And getting in there and stirring it around, getting that flavor moving. We're going to go ahead in with some more oxtail seasoning. Looking good, ready to bubble up into it. Okay, we're almost there. What I'm going to do now is add a little bit of cornstarch and water to thicken up the gravy. And it's not going to change the flavor, but it'll give the texture more of a thickness. I don't know why it's photographing like yellowish. It's completely dark, but okay. I'm gonna put some cornstarch in a cup, and I'm gonna add some hot water to that and give that a stir. So you want to mix this around. This is going to help you make great oxtail gravy with a great thickness and hold all the flavor in without changing the taste. Then we're going to go ahead and pour it into the center and stir it around slowly, however fast you want, because the process works pretty quickly. It's already starting to kind of thicken up. But you want to let it simmer on low for about 30 more minutes. And see, you can see the consistency has already changed. I haven't even cooked it that long, but it's still thickening up. This oxtail gravy is important, especially on your rice. So you want to make sure that it's not a watery consistency. But I'll show you the finishing result once we come back after 30 minutes. Now, once this boils down again, you could re-add water. Keep doing it until the meat is tender, and we're gonna plate it. Now we have delicious Jamaican oxtail, rice and peas, and plantain with cabbage. Like, subscribe, and share.